order the Village of Waterford Finance Committee meeting on Monday, October 13th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Roll call, Trustee Ewert is excused. He's out of town for personal reasons. I have not heard from Mr. Deasy, so he may join us. But we do have a quorum here with 3. So, any comments or correspondence that I'm not aware of?
No, sir.
All right. Any public appearances?
No, sir.
All right. Moving on to reading and approval of our minutes from October 6th, 2025.
Motion approved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Hearing a second. Any questions, comments, concerns of those minutes? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. All right, moving on to new business. Item number 1, presentation and discussion of the 2026 budget for library and fire. And then the committee will consider an appropriate motion for action. I just spoke with Chief Rosina about 2 hours ago. He had planned to be here as well to discuss fire, but he has a work situation that he did not think he would get here in time. So that should be pretty straightforward when we get to it, I think. So we'll just start with the new library director, Jessica's presentation, if that works.
Sure. Hi. Thank you guys. Thank you for having me. My name is Jessica. I'm the new director next door. I'm happy to come here today to talk to you a little bit about what it is that we're working on, my plans, and yes, what our budget needs are. So here we go. All right, so first what I would like to say is that libraries build community. So much of what we do is about the people in the building and not just the items on the shelves. We talk a lot about circulation, we talk a lot about what we have, but so much about what we do is who comes through our doors and how they interact in our space. We don't dictate how, what, or why people use the library, we just provide the access for them to do so. And yes, libraries have a PR problem. We are more than books, and everything we have and everything we do is considered a shared resource. Okay, so a good library complements and responds to community needs. We act as a hub for opt-in education. Kids have to go to school, adults don't. So this is a great place for that. Kids as well, of course. We provide access to information. That's a core of what we do. We supply resources for job seekers and entrepreneurs. We provide computer and Wi-Fi access to everyone. We provide vital early literacy and language learning skills, and not just to children, but to their parents. We teach their parents how to continue that at home. We drive traffic to the area small businesses, especially if people are coming from outside the municipality to use our library. I can't tell you in the last 2 months that I've been there how many people are coming in with a coffee from Katz or grabbing a book and then going over to get an ice cream afterward. People are hanging out downtown and the library is one of their stops. We are acting as a community center where everyone is welcome. Literally everyone is welcome. No one is turned away at the door. Everyone is welcome. And one of the things that we are doing that is probably newer is combating the loneliness epidemic. We know this is a problem in the United States, and so many people who are at our building every day, we are the only people that they're speaking to all day long. There's at least a handful of them every day. So some things that we offer that you might not know about. Hotspots. I went to St. Louis this weekend. I worked on this presentation in the car because I brought a Wi-Fi hotspot with me that I checked out from the library. Did you know you can go to the Milwaukee Zoo for free using your library card? Did you know that you can check out musical instruments, video games? You can go online and learn a new language. We have an app called Mango, and I happen to know that several people in the town of Waterford and the village of Waterford are learning German based on our usage statistics. You can use your library card to take an online class for free. Speaking of German, we actually are having an educational presenter coming in November. He is a German historian, and he's going to talk about why the Germans settled here in Wisconsin and how that is influencing our culture here. So, and how it has continued to influence our culture here. We have things like a watt meter. So you have a refrigerator that's you suspect is driving up your energy bill in your garage. You can check out our watt meter and check that wattage. You have a garden that you can't get to grow. You can check out our soil tester and see what the pH is like in your yard. We have a large inflatable screen. It's super cool. You put it in your backyard. It has a fan. It has a projector. You hook it up to your favorite streaming service. You can watch the Super Bowl. You can watch movies. You can do all kinds of fun yard parties with it, or of course in a gymnasium as well. And I don't know if you've ever tried to access consumer reports online, but it's very expensive. You can do that for free using your library card. All right, so maybe you're thinking, but people don't use the library. Well, the library saw 46,000 people in 2024. The equivalent of 65% of the village population comes to our doors every single month. It's about 3,841 people on average. In addition, library cards. 34% of Village of Waterford residents have a library card. Do you think that's a big number? I think it's a pretty good number. And when I look at other libraries in the area, in the county of Racine in particular, I can tell you that we are at the top of the list. Burlington has 34% of their residents have a library card. 18% is Rochester, 25% is Racine Public Library, Union Grove is 24%, and East Troy is 21%. So we are really up high on the list of libraries that are doing things right. Our usage. Okay, so the population of Waterford was down by 111 people in 2024 from 2023, but the library's new users went up by 621 people. That's 621 new people got library cards. This is not a renewal. You have to renew your card every 2 years. That's not what this is. These are new families. And it's not a fluke, because in 2023, the village grew by 399 and the library had 677 new users. This is consistent. We are consistently seeing about 600 to 700 new families walk through our doors every year. And so far for the year 2025, we've issued 531 new library cards. So we're on track to do it again. So you might be wondering, aren't books going away? No, my answer is no. In September of 2025, we checked out 7,692 physical books and 2,453 ebooks and e-audiobooks. So the issue here is that we don't care what the format is. The library finds a way to provide it, and we will continue to find a way to provide it. So all of those things still require a library card to access. So that's all still usage. That's all fine with us. We don't care if physical books are less preferred for 25% of checkouts, because that's what it is. 75% of book checkouts last month were actual physical books. All right, so my friend Mike over there gave me a wonderful tour of the Village of Waterford in my first few weeks. And he showed me all about, the parks and the buildings here, and about, the ball diamonds and how beautiful it is. And I can tell that this village is focused on future generations. We want to make sure that this village is still around and awesome, right, down the road. And the library is the same way. And I can bet that those of you in this room, the library is totally different today than it was when you were kids. I mean, it is for me. It is totally different today than it was when I was a kid. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. That's intentional. That means that as librarians and libraries, we are constantly seeking what our community needs from us and responding accordingly, making sure that what we offer is what is being asked of us. And so what this is this is a list of things that the American Library Association has identified are future trends in libraries, things that libraries could offer as, again, shared resources, this whole idea of shared resources. And it's everything from creative maker spaces for embroidery, crickets, laser cutting, robotics, health and wellness screenings, tech and digital access, expanding on non-traditional services. So I already mentioned that we have non-traditional things that you can check out. What if we had tools? There is no hardware store in Waterford, and the closest one is Menards, right? In Burlington, I believe. So, I mean, wouldn't it be cool if you were in the middle of a project and you could run over to the library and check that tool out? So it's just thinking outside the box like that and trying to figure out what it is this community in particular wants from its library. There are some ways that I've already started making sure that we are doing what the library asks. Number one is a comment box, making sure that we have constant feedback coming back to us. I'm going to give a report in the village meeting where I go over some of those patron responses and requests. And my goal is that every single month, I'm not only talking about what patrons want, but I'm literally calling them and telling them what we're doing in response to their requests. So we have so much potential. There's so many things that libraries can do, ways we can expand in order to meet our community needs. But first, Waterford Public Library needs to be open more. And we need to be able to afford books, because these are two things we're struggling with right now. We have 3 sources of funding, and forgive me for those of you who already know how the funding works, but it's complex and I feel the need to go over it again. One is village tax funds. This is traditionally the most reliable source of funding that any library in Wisconsin has. It's generally about the same every year. Second is county reimbursements. These reimbursements are directly dependent both on village contributions as well as library usage. So our performance and the village tax funds go together to determine what that number will be. And the third is donations. Okay, so this is what the cycle looks like. It all starts with the village. If we get village tax dollars, we can have better performance, meaning we can be open more, we can have more new books. And when those usage numbers go up, we get more county tax dollars. And again, they are also using the village tax dollar number to figure out that county tax dollar formula. It all starts with the village. I have to say that years ago we had a very large budget of $300,000, and currently being underfunded means that we are leaving approximately $40,000 of county funding on the table each year. Over the course of 10 years, this is almost $500,000 that we're saying no thank you to because we aren't getting that original village funding. It's a shame. So the library needs more village funding support, period. We are cut at the knees with a low funding, and it is the only way that we can grow, and it's the only way that we can provide more service. I do want to address the role of donation funds. I've had a lot of conversations about the library funding since I've come to Waterford with a variety of different people. And people want to know about donations. Like, can't you rely on them? Don't you have a great friends group? And we do. I have to recognize we have the most passionate friends of the library group. They are dogged in their efforts. They have all kinds of creative ideas. They raise a lot of money. And traditionally, the Friends of the Library provide funds for programs. They fundraise for special projects like new furniture and tech equipment, right? But since January of 2023, the Friends of the Library have been supplementing our operating expenses. I can't hire someone on donation funds, and I can't continually buy books based on donations for a lot of reasons that are problematic. So Friends funds are limited, and we're at the mercy of their fundraising efforts. So today, I'm here to ask you for $22,800, a drop in the bucket of the tax levy. This small amount could increase our door count by allowing us to be open more hours per week, thereby increasing our checkouts and usage, and thereby increasing our county funding. It is a ripple effect that really benefits us by giving us a small amount of money more. Also, this would allow us to increase our physical new book holdings to have a draw of more materials for adult patrons, also driving up our usage. This in particular is a problem that I personally see at our library since I've come, is that we can't afford the newest stuff, and that is a problem. And then I look forward to coming back here next year and showing you how we've grown with that small amount of money. Thank you for your time. As a new department head, I feel the need to say out loud, I promise to be a good steward of taxpayer dollars, and every penny that is spent under my watch will be in direct response to community needs. And I do invite every one of you to visit the library because we have so much to offer. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Jessica. Great presentation.
Great.
Yes, Don?
We got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
What percent of the people this use are village residents?
Percentage of the use of each year?
These numbers?
Okay, so, sorry, I just closed my presentation. Let me pull it back up.
The use of the library in general.
So we see 46,000 people a year, and I just closed it, sorry.
Are you tracking as far as visitors or circulation?
Yeah,
People
the
who
people
step
who
foot.
use the library, what percentage is
Mhm.
the village residents?
That's hard to know because we don't ask them where they come from.
But they gotta
if they're coming
Check
in.
out their,
If they have a library card,
Yeah.
we can determine that number. I don't have that number with me today, but I'd be happy to get that for you.
but it is, you can determine it as far as usage.
Yes.
It is checked out.
Right.
Yes, yes,
Right.
for sure, yep.
Okay. I got another couple more questions. I know your funding has to do with checkouts and usage. Has the rules changed since you still don't get any funding for electronic, correct?
So
It's
we
got-
get
It's
funding.
just gotta be physical
It's
books still?
no,
That's the reason
so
I'm asking.
we do get. So I asked the same question, okay, because I came from a place where those counted as physical checkouts. So what has been explained to me is that we do get that funding. We get it from a different roundabout way. So it doesn't count as a checkout. But the Racine County formula is very complex. And what they do is they take our village funding, they take our actual operating expenditures, they divide it into all sorts of pieces, and then they figure out our service usage amount. Then whoever uses our library, we get a check cut for that number of checkouts times that usage amount. So while we're not getting circulation numbers, we're getting it through the back end because our costs for Libby and Hoopla, which are our ebook services, are considered into that operating expenses.
Doesn't that part of the county formula also has to do with usage other than village residents?
The county funding we get is only for non-village residents.
Correct. That's
Yes, so
that-
we get paid for their usage through our county reimbursements.
Okay, but so again, that is the formula used to get your reimbursements for other than village residents?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
I was just clarifying that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda, do you have any questions or?
Well, I go to the library probably 3 times a week.
Thank
at
you.
least. Yes. I walk in all the time. And I love it, and I do agree that I think there needs to be something done with the new books that come in.
Me too, I have a big idea.
Yeah, okay. And I really don't know how to resolve it other than your pitch today, but I think it is a very important part of our community.
Thank you.
And I want it to survive, and I think it's really kind of a key thing. So I'm very supportive of it, but we have to make the money work too. We have to make,
Exactly,
you
of
know,
course.
budget.
Yep,
So,
we are not the only one, I get it.
Our biggest challenge is, and I'm sure everybody knows this, is, I've said it 1,000 times, is if we come up with 28,000 more for you or 22 or whatever,
22.8,
we've gotta take it from somewhere else.
Yep.
That's our challenge.
I understand.
Do we go ask the guys in DPW, do we take it from police, do we take it from, that's the hard decisions that we have here.
And I don't envy you that.
and I do agree with having additional hours too. That Thursday morning catches
It's
me
a
all
problem.
the time that
It's
it's
a problem.
closed. It's like,
Many people have said to me since I started that they actually have stopped going to our library because of the limited hours, which is just heartbreaking for me trying to up our usage. So,
Well, those of you that know me in this room the last couple of years, I publicly stated that we made an extreme mistake cutting $100,000. I believe it's 4 years ago or 3 years ago right now. I don't remember the exact year. Absolute disastrous move by the elected officials in this community at the time to think that that was a wise decision. And if no one else wants to go on record and saying that, that's fine. I will continue to say it. I know others feel it. They may not say it publicly, but that was one of the more ridiculous things that we did in our little meeting at the firehouse. You weren't here for that. It was also kind of just almost an insult to the cut again. But anyway, we need to learn from history and from mistakes. So I've slowly advocated to this committee the last 2 years and tried to claw back some of that money. Where are we at from that? 227,600, is that where we're at? Somewhere in there? 200, if I'm doing my math right. 227.2 to get 28, okay. I agree with Linda, and I think I asked you a few of these questions, Jessica. What currently is the new book budget? Is it anything
so
or
before the cut, it was $25,000. It is
a year?
Yes,
Okay.
and this is just for adult books, and it's currently $2,500.
Okay. Linda made a comment about she wants her library to stick around. The current funding, the current hours, the current new book budget, how long do you anticipate our library sticking around at that rate?
So it's really hard for me to say. So like I said, the Friends are actually helping supplement some of those funds right now. This is a problem for a lot of reasons, and I don't, unless you want me to, I won't get into the details of why that's a problem. But they are kind enough to cut us a check every now and then for the programs that we're doing and for the extra things that we need, like zoo passes is a great example. They just paid for those, which were like $1,000. So they're friendly, they're great, and they're really happy to help us. However, I can't hire someone based on donation funds, nor can I start to provide the kind of new books that we need based on donation funds. freedom of information is very important to libraries, and it means that we can't have any outside influence on what we purchase. Every library has every single thing across the political spectrum, and we like to say we have something to offend everyone, because there is literally something in the library that everybody wouldn't like. It's the whole point. So anyway, by having the Friends funding our books, while I'm so grateful for their generosity, the tricky part there is they could technically have some say over what we were purchasing. And from a library perspective, that is problematic. And so it needs to be the library board that has oversight of those funds. And coming in as a new staff member, I see that as a big problem, and I brought it to our system director, who agrees with me that it is a big problem. So these are two urgent issues that I see, hours and books, and that's why I'm asking for this amount, because I think both of those things can be pretty easily addressed with a little more money.
So I have another question. What is the relationship that we have with the elementary schools and the high schools in regard to usage and having the students come in and utilize the facility and checking out books? I would think that would be a really big part of this community coming in, having the kids come in, the grandkids come in.
Yeah, so the tricky part there is they have libraries at their schools.
I know,
So
I
a lot of
understand that.
times they are doing that. We have a flood of kids every single day after school, and we have, like you said, a lot of grandparents bringing in their grandkids. Teacher cards exist, so teachers can come in and check out all kinds of things for their classrooms. That isn't on their personal card, right? So the school's responsible rather than them being responsible. We do go to the schools to do a push before summer reading. And honestly, I mean, on my list of things that I would love to do someday, if we do get back to fully funded, is literally have a full-time staff member in the community at all times, being at the school, at the parks, at the events, issuing library cards where they're at, going to the grocery store and having book checkouts there, going out into the community and literally bringing books to people, assisted living facilities. We do that right now on a very small scale, but I would really love for that to be our future.
And we do provide tours for different classrooms that come in. Usually that is in the spring when teachers reach out to us, and then we give their students a tour along with showing them all the cool things that we have to offer too.
Very nice, yeah.
Okay, I had another question. I seen in our earlier budget, we've got the village is budgeting for roof and air conditioning, is that something?
Yep.
Is any of that reimbursed through the county, or
None of it.
the
However,
village is responsible for that?
the village is responsible for the building. I did tell Mike though, we just talked about this a week or two ago. I attended a presentation from that Focus on Energy group, and we are eligible for a bunch of reimbursements through them. And I already did start the wheels turning on that with Mike connecting them via email.
So I'm really glad Don brought that up, because I think it's actually awesome that somebody's decided to take care of the building that the village owns and decide to do the HVAC that we've limped along. Mike, you can kind of chirp in if you want. How long have you been limping that along on a daily basis?
A long time.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
the last 3 years have been getting pretty
Okay.
intense.
And I believe, just like anybody's personal home, hitting the 25 to 26 year mark, we'd all probably be thinking about investing in the building we love so dearly. So I'm glad to see that's happening. So I have a question for the committee and the administrator, just kind of going forward, and actually the trustees that are in the room to think about this. If we're going to invest $750,000 in our library, we should probably try to find a way to invest in the operations for that library, because it seems like a hell of a lot of money to put into a building that potentially might not be around servicing the community.
Is that how much it is in the budget? $750,000?
Yep.
It's 4 something and 3
You
something.
know,
I saw it in there, but I didn't.
Budgetary.
So
And
just-
then depending on
just
the
trying to
full
say
set
that
grants and stuff.
We can all make our homes fancy and shiny, but if we have nothing inside of it, I don't really know what the point of that is. So I do understand the numbers, unfortunately. We did have a meeting and a conversation like we all do. We can talk about, as a committee, where we come up with this money, where we find this money, if there's a smaller number we can do, or it's staying flat until next year and the conversation's rehabbed. I'm just trying to point out that as a community, taxpayers are gonna be putting out money into that building
Didn't we do a survey on this?
to redo the roof.
Let me start with one. and
I'm
then you can-
just trying to put that out there. I
Yeah.
just wanna make sure people
You can-
hear
The
that.
roof's gotta get done.
You can freeze
I
my
understand.
salary this year. I wanna start the conversation there.
I'm just stating, I want the group to have a conversation. Again, we have 2 committee members not here again tonight, so it's difficult to get a full committee's input.
Yep.
I am good to go with whatever the committee wants to do. I'm well aware of the numbers. I'm also well aware of what we talked about earlier. The can's been kicked pretty far down the road.
So, Michelle, what was our net new construction total income available this year?
I don't have that, I didn't bring mine.
So, fair to
Okay,
say it was
budget.
about $45,000, somewhere in that ballpark?
If, yeah,
Okay.
very low.
So for the committee's edification of trustees that are present, Wisconsin law, and John's gonna kick me in a second. Wisconsin law allows you 2 opportunities to raise taxes. Mechanism number 1 is net new construction, and that is capped by the state at whatever the Department of Revenue determines you built from new stuff. So for us this year, I'm going from memory, it's about $45,000. I don't have it sitting in front of me. We also got some one-time TID revenue this year. All of that is being eaten up through already contemplated increases in other departments. The only other mechanism that you have is to do 1-year term borrows. So the state does allow you to raise taxes for borrowed money. This is the hallmark of an institution that is, to Don's point in conversations we have many times, not managing its finances incredibly well. I would agree with that statement going back years ago. However, in the post-Act 10 environment, that's just not the case. I don't know of anything in my household that hasn't changed in price in the last decade. I don't know if you all can think of anything in your households that hasn't changed in price in the last decade, other than your tax bill coming from the Village of Waterford. There's been 0 tax adjustment in the last decade, and that's one, a testament to the trustees and fiscal conservatism and the department heads, staff that have managed to control cost. But at some point, there's just no efficiency to be gained with holding the line. As a consequence, at some point, you're going to have to contemplate tax increases. So let's start the conversation about library funding by removing COLA this year from my salary, and your options really are pull from fund balance or pull from somewhere else.
Okay. Don, Linda?
$22,800 is what she's asking for.
Yep. And input on those suggestions by the administrator or other ones you have, or just expedite this along and stay flat.
I guess you're looking at me.
I'm just asking opinions from you 2.
First of all, Zeke's example of borrowing money, paying back the next year, it is kind of like taking borrow money off your credit card, make your house payments.
Yep.
It is exactly what you're doing, and you're not going anywhere, but backwards. Not to mention paying interest.
Yep.
To
And
me,
origination.
an origination that's just something that's not responsible for any community or household or no matter what. That's ridiculous. We have borrowed money in the past to do roads, capital money, and we still do. And that, in my opinion, that's acceptable. You don't borrow money for operations like the town's doing. That's not responsible government, no matter which way you slice it. I mean, you got. I guess I got a question. Your wages are $411,639. How many full-time employees and?
We have 3 full-time employees. That's not how much our wages are currently.
Okay.
In that worksheet, that's probably a proposal for if we were to get a budget raise.
Well, that's your 2025 budget also. $411,639.
Oh, as the bottom line, so that includes wages and benefits?
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says combined. Wages is $291. Then you got
Mhm.
unemployment, you got retirement, workman's comp, but either way, that's the cost to the library,
Mhm.
right? I mean, it's,
Traditionally speaking, library salaries account for 60% of an overall library budget.
How much of that 22,800 was contemplated for wage increases?
I would like to use about half.
Okay.
For, it wouldn't be a wage increase, it would be hiring another part-time staff member.
So was that half for wage increases for existing employees and half for hiring a
No.
staff member, all of that's going to hire a new staff member?
No, all of it to hire a new staff
Okay.
member.
So what is the COLA contemplated for library employees this year?
We are advised to stay with what the village chooses.
Okay.
So we don't have much say in that at all.
So,
As a matter of fact, the village determines the COLA and we have to make it work.
While he's doing that, didn't we give Heather, the previous director, an increase of 25,000 last year during?
I think you gave 17 last year and a little bit the year before that. So it's, you've given 2 years of increases.
Yeah, after the reduction.
Right.
I guess I'm just doing some math here. Your total expenditures are $592,673. So that's $50,000 a month, $49,389.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you think you're gonna close the library on $50,000 a month? Well, to your point.
I don't have that answer. I don't know. I don't run a library, so I don't know how long $50,000 is sustainable. And the-
So keep in mind.
I know it's a month.
We
I'm
give,
just saying long term. I don't know. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we give back 21% each year, at least this year, of what the village gives us back in expenses. So we do have a very expensive agreement with the village, and you know we pay all the same things that everyone else does: the sewer, the water, everything else.
Michelle,
So
you cool with a freeze on you?
Yeah, I was actually,
Cool.
before we had our little
Mike,
blowout
you
in the
cool?
meeting the other day, I was
Okay, so
going to say,
Zeke, Mike, and
take
Michelle
20,000
are
out
all
of my
gonna take a wage
wages.
freeze, and that'll get you about 7,200. But I'd ask Rick, but his wages come out of the sewer utility, so it doesn't count. This is general tax money that we're talking about. So if the library staff took a wage freeze also, on we're calculated wages of 314.
I don't think we have to go further with this conversation. I greatly appreciate the mindset, Zeke.
Sure.
I really do. I appreciate the outside thinking of the box. I appreciate everybody willing to do that, but that's not how a cohesive unit works, is trying to. I know there's no money.
So, yeah,
I-
where's the money gonna
You,
come from?
I'm not asking. I just said I wanted your guys' input. I'm the one advocating every year and out.
Sure.
I'm just, I don't know, I can't keep going up the bat
Yeah.
when others don't want to invest or try to find the money, whether it's from general funds or cut from somewhere else. We continue to just keep giving, but we don't necessarily say maybe one other department is bloated.
Your hands are tied.
I know they
towards
are.
the General Assembly, right?
I know they are, but
you've got limited resources you can use. You basically just have to shuffle around what assets you have, with net new construction being your only other.
I totally get it. I'm just trying to say.
And
Again,
actually, our net new construction number is higher than
A lot of communities.
we're getting ready to invest $750,000 into a building that we don't fund properly. It's just it's a mismatch to me. And I'm well aware where you sit, Don, where Linda sits. I get it. We can't come up with the money. There's nothing we can do. I understand that. I also agree borrowing a year to pay for operations is absolutely asinine. I get that. I'm not as stupid as I look to the public. I'm just saying, at some point we have to get serious about what our priorities are as a community. That's all I'm saying. If we can't figure out the money this year, we can't figure out the money. Jessica, Sam, they're going to show up and do their jobs, whatever amount of money is given.
So Jessica's got a valid point about county funding formula,
She
and
absolutely does.
increasing funding plays a role in hours open play a role in the county funding formula, and the whole circle loops around. So I appreciate you saying, hey, maybe that's not the way to go about it, but from my chair, that's the most logical course of action, right?
And I'm saying it's a respectable thing to offer up all of you. But we can't have some individuals freezing their pay, some not. It's an odd dynamic for a unified organization.
So the
To be
three
good.
of us,
In my
separate from this, have had conversations outside. So when we're talking about our lowest wage earning employees, particularly our younger employees, any freeze in their wages just cripples them. Mike, you own your house? How long you been living there? Michelle, not to get too far deep into things with you guys own your house?
Almost.
Okay, I'm sitting across from a landlord. He's really reasonable on rent rates. So my point is, my life is okay, right? Michelle's life is okay. Mike's life is okay. You know, it puts us further behind in future years. So, you know, maybe we do talk about a more sustained funding formula to handle things going forward.
I think, I got a suggestion or a thought, at least, we should at least raise the funding, the COLA amount for the employees. So, thinking for the COLA.
So that's,
Jessica and Sam, could you go over the DPI a little bit? You know, how, what we are rated at compared to what we should be, what we used to be?
So I can tell you that for a library within 2,000 people of our population, full-time equivalent employees, we have the average is 9.90. We're at 6.73. So we're significantly lower than any other library our size on average. And when the budget cuts happened, we were at
Just 9.7 or something,
Yeah.
9.5.
so
What do you mean by size? Is it population you
Yeah.
serve?
yes,
Or is it
population.
the size of the building? or
Population.
Population you serve?
Mhm.
And the hours now compared to what they used to be, which again, just circles the whole life of the funding for the library.
Right.
Because we used to be open
Till
Till
8 o'clock
8
at night.
till 8 o'clock at night, and now,
7 o'clock twice.
2 nights.
and we open late on another day, right?
Thursdays,
Thursday.
and we're only open till noon on Saturdays.
Has any other department heads asked for an increase of this amount?
So when I'm working with the other department, the library is a unique animal,
Mhm.
just completely. And that the library board has its own machinations about where it's gonna put the funding and, what pay rates it's gonna offer its employees and where the funding categories. So we really just look at that top line item, which is how much do we spend. So, each department looks at needs at a granular level based on that survey that we send out to our residents, and then the library board. So that, what I'm trying to say is, no, we just don't do it the same because they're a different animal.
Okay, let me rephrase that then. Has any other department's budget increased this year?
Yes. You got
One, two, numerous, all?
So let's keep it consistent with talking about positions. So the board approved a position in parks as a full-time position. It was a part-time that converted to a full-time. And then we had one in admin that went from part-time to full-time. We're down net 2 from the same time period. So the same time that we cut library funding by $100 grand, we trimmed admin funding by, I'm going from memory, call it $180 grand or something like that. So we then hired back one part-timer to fill in. That part-timer became full-time. So you got some increased funding in admin for that, some increased funding in parks to make up for that. To your point about assets, right? It's great to have a beautiful park, you know, people to manage it, right? Doesn't get taken care of.
Got a suggestion, how about we raise the funding on the COLA of basically the library's funded not just by the village, it's not a,
Right.
I mean, it's funded a number of ways, I get it. So, I guess what I'm thinking is, raise the COLA amount for the general tax levy that the village taxpayers give, which is somewhere around $6,500 or something like that.
Okay. I'm not asking a question, Jessica, how you,
You come up with that,
so I'm gonna be quiet, you go ahead.
you come up with that somewhere,
What are you asking for?
like $6,500?
You can spend out fund balance, whatever you
From
can
the-
spend
from
out,
the-
you got 3 employees offering to freeze their COLAs this year. Those are the most expedient options you have on the table right now. We could go back and figure out what we could trim out, if you said so you go find $6,500 for trim out, that's all so much, but it would mean something else isn't getting done. Right. I'm gonna give kudos to the fire department, they pretty consistently underspend their budget. On the fire side, EMS is a different animal, that's just how we have the wages, so you may find a year in that you have kind of an underage on fire spending, because we just didn't get the fire calls. At the same note, you could have a year where you have a spike in fire calls because we have, you know, a drought and drier weather, and we're doing a lot more, so it's an up and a down. Same with road salt swings pretty wildly based on the year. You need sustained funding mechanisms, and she needs more funding to run the library. I have no qualms with the $22,800 amount. You're going to need to contemplate additional funding amounts going forward. You said Zeke Michelle go sit down and figure out how to get her $22,800. We'll go sit down and figure out how to get her $22,800. It'll mean something that gets cut somewhere else.
Maybe we could hold off on a path to one that's first.
So the problem with capital outlay is one time. We need to cut this from operations. Those funds are not exactly fungible because they create ongoing deficits. And I'm going to say this, if we do hire another person because we believe that the library should be open more hours, that's going to create a compounded problem, and that we're also going to have COLA on that employee in future years. So anything that's a one-time fixed outlay, we can budget for it, it's easy, it's done, and we manage it within our overall debt scope. On the operations side, it continues to grow because it's compounded over time.
Would that help you if we did the COLA on the amount we give?
For sure.
Um,
Any penny would help. We are spending within $1,200 of our budgeted amount last year, and within $1,800 the year before. So we are right down to the wire.
What would $22,800 get you?
It would get me a part-time employee who could work maybe 20 hours a week,
Yeah.
and then $10,000 in books each year, which is half of what our budget was before.
Yeah, what do you think that does to your county funding?
It's so
Take a guess. I know, I've sat through this a
and
number
it
of years.
doesn't take a couple of years to.
it takes 2 years.
Yeah.
So
That's
what
okay,
that means
though.
is this year we got hit for the first time since the budget cut. So our budget is low, even though we've gotten boosts the last 2 years because of that. So I'm gonna say, okay, if we were fully funded, we would get 40,000 ish extra dollars, and being at 250, I'm gonna say we would get
Maybe another 10.
maybe another 10.
Alright, so.
It's very much up and down though, and it has to do with our usage, so it's really hard to say.
But the more hours we're open, the better off that usage
better
is going
chance.
to be.
Hmm. Yes.
Definitely domino effect.
Oh, we anticipate with that new subdivision, Newman Homes by Trailside, you're probably gonna get a lot more usage, because I would anticipate that there's gonna be quite a few families
think
moving
so.
into
That
that
would be great.
area.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It also helps with the impact fees
I don't
too.
even know
Exactly.
if anybody's living there yet. I think they're still building.
But those impact fees are one time also. You make an obligation to hire somebody, then we don't get building the next year, then they're back upside down.
I know.
And
Bear with me, I'm trying to get in there.
You've been here quite a bit, right? You see a three-legged cat?
Out
She
here?
followed me.
Yeah, it's out. It's in the parking lot quite a bit.
Does she belong to somebody? Do
I
we
have
know?
no idea. I don't know. I thought Andrea said it was her, and I don't know.
She seemed really sweet. She wanted to be petted.
No, she is.
Ask the question, because I'm having a challenge with this. Folks who would know, might know the
We
money.
got 15 minutes, Mr.
I'll
Levis.
make a motion to do
Right?
the
Mhm.
increased COLA on, the amount we give, which is somewhere around $6,500. Amount that the village gives the library, this year.
Okay. Got a motion for roughly 60 cost of living. We'll just go with COLA, $6,500. for the 2026 budget.
Find the money in. So out of other departments.
So how does that work if we're able to review and maybe find some additional funding? Do
So
we
it's
have
not-
to-
How it works is we gotta go back to everybody else's budget and
Right.
try to take out a couple hundred here, a couple hundred
Right.
here, whatever, to get to that amount.
So this is what I'm gonna pull up here.
Okay.
But we either need a second or not.
Zeke, just to remind you, 15 minutes.
Yeah, we get-
Okay, so rather
Just saying, I
than
don't-
trying to
just-
go through
just
here,
saying.
your short answer is TID number 3, increasing your allocation over, it's gonna put you in a bind in 2035. That's a long time to worry about. Yeah.
Well,
I have a thought. What about decreasing the percentage of the admin charges? Would that
So-
help? Like to 4%?
Yeah, the
Does the same
thing that I said earlier, it's, the money's
Same
coming,
thing?
for yeah, it's, whether it's billed one way or billed the other, doesn't change
Okay.
anything. So, in other words, there's gotta be more revenue coming in or more expense that actually doesn't happen. So I think increasing your allocation to TID number 3 is your no immediate impact option. So we would increase the transfer from 140,000 to 146,500, or for that matter, 166,800.
I'll make that part of my motion
The what, 166, 8?
to take the allocation out of the TID.
For what
For the
amount?
COLA
For
or
what amount?
the amount she's requesting?
No, for the amount that I made my motion.
Okay.
6,500
I
bucks.
just wanted it to be clear. Thank you.
Okay, we have that motion.
So I'm the only one that can second it,
I,
right?
I can second it as well. I'm just,
I second that motion.
all right, having a second, any more conversation on this topic from anybody in this room? Yes, Administrator Jackson.
Jessica, will that change your county allocation at all?
Not really.
0 is the answer I'm looking for. Okay, so the point I'm getting at is while it may allow them to take some pressure off of donation funds is effectively what it is, right? So you get to take some pressure off of donation funds. They had a one-time influx from the, I'm gonna draw a blank on the name of it.
The Waterford Jam Fest.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yep.
So I think it was like a $45,000-ish
Yeah.
one-time influx. I'm gonna say this too, like the library's donation accounts, I've looked over the investments, had conversations with the library board in the past about it. I'm not convinced that those library funds in those donation accounts are going to be there in the dollars and amounts that they expect them to be in future years. They're completely up to the whims of market variables. And the products that they're invested in are not products that we invest the village's money in. So they are less stable, less dependable, and while you, at least in the short run, get a higher immediate rate of return, in the long run, you can lose the principal of that.
But that's all controlled by the library.
Right.
It's all controlled by the library board and the Friends Group. Yep.
Okay, any other conversation, questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Zeke, can you quickly throw fire in there?
Fire is what I would describe as a no substantive change project. It's an $8,000 difference from last year, and that is almost all going into NABUS stipend. We discussed past challenges, what they have going on. Rosie's indicated he has a need for what I would describe as some secretarial type help. He's going to code that into other areas that go unspent as single stipends to get that work completed. And we need to make sure we can turn people out for NABUS calls. We've taken a pass on a number of them. Rosie seems to feel like, increasing that as a one-time allocation. And we've written it in there as a single year stipend amount. We'll revisit it year to year. This is not a general stipend amount. It is a 2026, let's see how it goes amount. The reason that we've done that is twofold. One, it means that the finance committee and ultimately village board have the discretion to increase that amount or decrease that amount without input from the PFC because it's only allocated for a single year versus if it's a general allocation, then it needs to go in front of the PSC to be taken off in future budget years. So we may find out that this stipend does absolutely nothing to bring people in which case we'll look at reallocating it somewhere else, or we may get feedback that, you know, it's, maybe it just needs to be goosed up a little bit, and we'll address that after a year of looking at it.
Okay, thank you for that. And I did, like I mentioned earlier, speak with Chief Rosina on the phone a few hours ago, and he echoed everything Administrator Jackson just said in his conversations with Michelle. Everybody was in agreement that that's what it should look like going forward. So,
I make the motion to accept the fire
all right,
as presented, fire
Right.
budget as presented.
we have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any more conversation or questions on that? All right, all in favor of that? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes. I want, we're gonna ask for just one more motion to move both of those forward as we just approved them, back to staff to present the rest of the budget to the village board.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right.
Yes, as he stated.
Yep. We have I'll second, just to change it up. Any conversation or questions regarding that? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that moves on back to staff. Okay, one more adjournment then. I mean, what, one adjournment? One more motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
We have a first, we have a second. And this meeting is, I'm losing my mind tonight. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned at